Hi guys, welcome back. Guess who's back? Happy, happy, happy day. It is a beautiful day. Summertime. I hope you're doing good, having a good morning, afternoon, evening, and you're blessed wherever you're at. So this video, we're going to talk about the trauma bonding, the triggers in these connections. When you come across and you're breaking these generational things, of course, when you first come across them, you're going to be triggered, okay? So, and I'm speaking from my situation. And so anyways, when you come across, these individuals, you normally come across when you're pure-hearted, you're not fully healed, you're not awakened, and you are, have those wounds that, normally God doesn't send these people in your path. The man downstairs, but, God, what the devil meant for evil, God meant for good. And if we're doing it, and healing, we're actually seeing when you first come across, there's a lot of things that are going to happen in these connections that trigger you, okay? And normally it's for the empaths, a lot of times just for the empaths, and so anyway, so in the beginning, that's what you're caused to see, and you're supposed to, it's like a mirror, you're supposed to look at that triggers, right? And go, wow, I really need to heal this, you know what I mean? And that's what I did, in the beginning. So you would have the arc and I'm going to do things, and intentionally these people, in my situation, again, it's coming from the way that they were raised or they were grown, you know what I mean? Like, again, like going in these, going, in their supply or whatever. And you're in the beginning and you had this like genuine, connection with them, whatever, and then they're going back and forth. Those are trauma, those are wounds they need to heal in their life, but they're meant to heal those triggers that make you keep going to that person or make you keep accepting that, you know what I mean, from that individual. I'm just going to use that for an example, okay? Say connections, right? And I've seen this in a lot of videos, so I want to talk about it. And they're over here, in this whole connection. These people can't have fully faithful connections, okay? Because unless they're healed and they evolve and heal those wounds, they are, filling those voids that they have in their life, right? And so they'll go to this connection temporarily, and then they'll go to this connection because they're constantly trying to fill the void that will never be filled until they heal that wound. You know what I mean? But me on my end, I'm healing those wounds that causes me or even to let them go in and out of your energy. You know what I mean? And so, but anyways, as you heal those triggers, though, that once, in the beginning that you once had, maybe with that individual, you don't have those, anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and not just that, you're just like, wow, this person's doing the same thing, but I'm not triggered this time. You know what I mean? And that's when this individual I was dealing with kept trying to do the same old stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like, wow, I've really, really fucking healed. You know what I mean? Like, and it's crazy. You know what I mean? And then they're scratching their head like, what the heck? What the heck? It doesn't trigger you no more? Like, no, because I healed. You know what I mean? And this is what we talk about, and triggers are meant, I mean, both of them, whether they choose to heal those triggers or not, you know what I mean? But those triggers are there to heal those triggers, you know what I mean? And like I said, when I came across, whether the person did intention and stuff like that, I healed those triggers, you know what I mean? And that's what it's meant to do, is like, okay, and they're like holes and generational things. And this is where when you're healing those triggers, you're cutting that cord, right? Because if that person's not choosing to heal and evolve with you, then you're no longer the same, you know what I mean? And this is where you're no longer attracted to that person, it was a trauma thing, you know what I mean? And you healed, it's like, thank you for showing me my wounds. Thank you for showing me what I needed to heal. But, you're no longer valid in my life. You know what I mean? I healed, I did the work, you know what I mean? Like, and I healed those triggers, and I'm not trauma bonded to you no more because I'm healed those triggers, you know what I mean? And you just grow, you know what I mean? Like, and nothing against the person that they don't choose to grow and evolve, then you gotta go, you know what I mean? Like, you're doing the work, you know what I mean? That's what life is about, and they have the same choices you do, and people have choices. That's another one we could talk about, is about talking about codependency on you, you know what I mean? They're codependent on you and your energy. You're not called to heal them. That's their choice. They need to heal themselves and do the work on themselves, you know what I mean? That is not your problem, you know what I mean? Like, and I talk to a lot of other people. I have a few really good friends that are divorced from them, okay? So, anyways, and these people try to cling on to you and your energy, That's not your job. You did your part, you know what I mean? And that's between them and God and their walk. If they choose to heal, they choose to evolve, great. If they don't, great. That's not your problem. You know what I mean? You're doing your work in your life. And like I said, I did my work, you know what I mean? And you can't sit there and expect people to sit there and, oh, okay, I'm going to decide. Everybody has their own, like I said, has their own journey. And whether they choose or not, that's my own journey. I chose to heal and evolve. You don't sit around and wait for these people, okay? And whenever they decide to go and do this or do that, you know what I mean? When they're 70 years old or whatever. No, that is not your job. Everybody has their own journey. And when you heal and evolve, you disconnect. You did your work. You know what I mean? It says in the Word of God, we have to work our own salvation out. And people don't choose to change, and you are changing for the better in this world, you got to cut them loose. And I can't say that enough, because that's what I went through a lot. No matter if they're still trying to hang on to you, they got to do the work. They got to go. That was my situation. Person's still trying to hang on, still hasn't done the work. And they try to avoid doing the work. Oh, let me just go over here and I've attached it. It doesn't work that anymore. Once you heal and you evolve, you cut the cord. They have to. They have the choice. They either grow and evolve and do the work and be better in their life. Bye. That's another one about being selfish. You know what I mean? And they choose to go out in this world and do whatever they do. That's free will. But that is not your job. And you, like I said, you're choosing to evolve and choose to be better in your life and do good. Cut that cord. Cut that cord. You want to be codependent on you. Or try to stand next to you doing the work. And no. Once you heal and you evolve and you go through all this, you're unattracted to that. You know what I mean? Like I said, we all go through things in life, but it's about learning and growing from them. And you don't see people growing from them. You're like, bye, honey, bye. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. And then they break that, or they hurt you, or they abuse their power way too much. And that there's no bridge to mend. You know what I mean? Again, these people will continue trying to hurt you from their things, and they're not changing and not doing the work. Okay, and that's where you come in, and you have to learn your lesson, evolve and heal, and cut that cord. You know. Those triggers, and it goes both ways. Those triggers are for you to heal. Like when I came across this person, trigger. And I healed the fuck out of those triggers, okay? But it goes both ways. They're not too. You're there to trigger them. It's part of the journey. You know, whether they choose to heal those triggers or not. Anything else, Lord? I'm thankful, you know, we all go through pain, we have traumas, but I'm very thankful that God has given us a gift to be able to heal those, you know what I mean? And we don't have to sit in those traumas, you know what I mean? We don't have to sit there and be victimized for the rest of our life, you know what I mean? You are the hero of your own life. I'm proof of that. You are your own hero in your own life. You write your story. Oh, God does too, actually. You and God. But and you may not come from a good background. You were born into this, you were born into that, but you get to choose the ending. You know what I mean? You get to choose whether you want to change your life, change that background you had. Again, if you come from toxic family, like I once did, or an environment, or abuse, you get to choose that. I did when I was 26 years old. I had a choice, you guys. I could start changing after my mom died. I said I had a choice right then and there. I remember God and the Holy Spirit. I wasn't who I was now, but I knew in my spirit, I was like, there's something that has to change in my life, or I'm going down the same path. And all of us, everybody in their life, we all have generational things in our own lives. And we see them in our life. God points them out. Whether you know God, whether you have a relationship with God, he sees those things and he shows you in their life like, wow, this is really, really toxic and I really, really need to change it. And God gives you that free will too. But again, that's your own journey. Everybody by themselves is their own journey. This is where we will, come across people in a part of life and then they've gone by or in and out, right? Because it's your journey, your choice. You know what I mean? That's why I've never, I could talk about codependency. I'm not codependent, you know what I mean? Like, I have my own life and my own journey. And again, like I said, a generational curse breaker of all the healing and a lot of things in my purpose. I came a lot of the people that are in their journey, they're on different levels over there. I came, again, that people that don't choose to, but this is my journey, you know what I mean? And you're not healing, you're not changing, you're not doing. Bye. I didn't have nobody, okay? This is your own journey. You're going to have to trust God in your own life. I didn't have nobody to sit there and, good job. Come on, get up. Come on, you can heal that. You got to heal that wound. You got to do that. You got that, girl. But I had angels and I had God, okay? That's what people don't understand. You're alone in your journey. You got to choose yourself. It is you, yourself, God. Everybody it's God and you. Period. Whether you know God or not, that's your between you and them. You know what I mean? I'm always someone that pumps people up along my journey and stuff like that, but. Again, people have choices. I have family members, they're in their own thing, you know what I mean? But again, there's certain people too. I cut them off because they're not, that's their own journey, their own choices, or they're doing things that I just don't agree with, you know what I mean? Or I don't approve of in my walk, in my faith, you know what I mean? Or they're not part of my morals or values, you know what I mean? Again, this is your life. This is your journey. You got to think what's best for you. You know what I mean? Yes, you have outside influence. You have things. And that's another video we could do about being influenced by people. I want to do that next. Again, triggers are only to help us to heal. Like sometimes we'll see them, right? I watch videos of that. Or you watch videos and these things and that triggers. Those triggers are meant to God to show you to heal those. Those are things that you need to heal. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with them. You know what I mean? You can go back and take your time. Say you get something triggered and you go, okay, well, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to take this month to heal that trigger. You know what I mean? But those are things that God will point out in your life. Throughout my 15.5 years, I've triggered. And I would acknowledge those triggers and then I would heal them. Get what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. I did a lot of work, and I would come across a lot of people and heal so many triggers, you guys. And I just would heal them, you know what I mean? And to the point where I go back to the same thing and I'm like, wow, I healed that. Huh? It's so cool. You know what I mean? And grieve it. Go by yourself. I did a lot, like I said, I did a lot of healing and by myself and with God. And I would just cry out and talk about it with God and say, bothers me, Lord, and show me what's going on in here and why am I triggered from that. And he'll show you in your own life, in your own walk, and you'll heal that and you'll go around again and you'll notice like, wow, I'm not triggered like that anymore by that situation. And I'm proud of you. You know what I mean? And I'm proud of you guys. Like, I want to give you guys acknowledgement and I'm proud. You know what I mean? Like, I really am. I'm proud. I could cry. Those that are, choosing, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm proud of you guys. And understand, this is probably another video, but I'll do that in another video, but I'm proud and I'm going to do snaps for you. What did she do? Legally Blonde. Snaps. Snaps for those triggers. You know what I mean? And again, when you go on these narcs and you're breaking the generation, there's a lot of triggers, okay? But understand, especially if you're the empath side, okay? Not the narc. You're the empath one, okay? And these dynamics, they're meant for you to heal those triggers, okay? So that way you'll go back and you go, wow, this dark is doing the same thing, and I'm not triggered by it no more. So I want to say, God bless you guys. I love you. Spread love, not hate. Don't be an arc. Just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. But yeah, I love you guys. And again, blessings on your journey. Blessings if you are in one of these dynamics and you're breaking generational curses. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. These journeys are not for the weak. Let me tell you that. They're not for the weak. And God don't give you nothing you can't handle, right? Yeah, right. I tell him every day, like, when I was going through the shit, I was like, who the fuck do you think I am, God? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just me and God have our moments. And God can handle that shit. You know what I mean? He's a punching bag. He can handle that shit. We got to learn how to deal with those, triggers, you know what I mean? Like, and try to find an escape. You know what I mean? Like, especially, you're really trigger in the beginning of your healing and stuff like that. You got to find an outcome out of that. Say, hey, this is going to trigger me. I need to go do this right away. You could have good, healthy things too. Like some people get triggered and they go run. They go for a run. You know what I mean? They get triggered. They go get their punching bag. You know what I mean? And then just like let it out. They get triggered. They have a person they call right away. You know what I mean? Talk about it. For me, it was God. Okay, it's just me and God. So I had a really, really deep relationship, and I cried out a lot and healed it. You know what I mean? Talked about it. Now I have really, really great people in my life, and and people that are divorced from narcs. So it's a win-win. You know what I mean? Like. But anyways, I just wanted to share that, about when you come across these individuals in your life that you're going to be triggered, and both ways, and again, in these journeys, those triggers are to heal us. You know what I mean? What that man meant for evil, God meant for good, and it heals you. You know what I mean? Like, and you become this better person because of it. You know what I mean? And anyways, and that's what he meant for evil. He wants you to be bitter, mad, and it does the opposite, especially if you have the Holy Spirit inside you, especially if you have God inside you. God turns that shit around. Pain is not easy, you guys. And as someone that is real, genuine, that lives that life, okay, it's not easy. I went through some hard shit that was meant to tear me and break me. It did the opposite. And I thank God. I call myself a wounded warrior because I'm wounded. I was wounded, And but trust me, it's like God has a plan. God has a plan for our pain. Okay? He has a plan for our pain. Hang in there, and again, this is about you and your journey. So I think, And again, thank you for listening about and talking about the triggers and these kind of connections. And you will be triggered. And the whole point of that is God wants you to heal from those wounds or those triggers, in both dynamics, And so, and just try to, again, remove yourself. Again, you're healing and you're evolving. And again, deal with those triggers in a healthy way. Don't take it out on people. Again, because we all have deep, deep pain, you know what I mean? And we get hurt, and again, people make choices, not God, to hurt us, and it's through their traumas, you know what I mean? But there's a difference when someone's doing some trauma and then they're repeatedly doing it to you and they're intentionally hurting you, okay? versus, you know, someone triggered and they did it and then they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. You know what I mean? Like, so, know the difference, okay? And again, that's when narcissists come in. They try to, you know, depending on if they're, they try to, you know, trigger you on purpose. You know what I mean? I have someone that, yeah, that kept trying to do and trigger me and is just very bitter and mad, and there's nothing you could do about that. It's not my problem. You know what I mean? And because that's their job to heal. These people, like I said, we're going to talk about did I talk about codependency on the first one? They're codependent on you. That's not your job. You know what I mean? We all are born in this world. That's not your job to take care of these people. If they don't choose to change and work and make choices, better choices in their life, bye. And especially choices that burn bridges completely. You can never trust those people. You know what I mean? And again, you pray that they heal. You pray they want to choose to heal and change their life, but that's between them and God. You know what I mean? But God bless you. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. Remember, God is great. Do the good and bad. Remember, He has a plan for your life. Everybody. And I'm out. See you on my next video. Bye.